In celebration of the recent safe return of NASA's Artemis II astronauts, today I'm going to be sampling, reviewing, and taste testing a prepackaged astronaut meal consisting of tortillas. These are from NASA and are supposedly very expired, but since they're tortillas, I'm hoping nothing terrible happens as a result of that. In addition to the astronaut food, we will also be combining it with the latest trend in space cuisine as well. In addition to these spacebound tortillas, I also have a package of terrestrial tortillas that is still sealed that we can use to compare the flavor between the two. Now, full disclosure, I am a space engineer, not a food critic, so you'll have to forgive me if I mistake some of the technical details when I'm describing the texture and flavor of these foods here. I'm also not a nutritionist, but I am getting rather hungry right now, so I can at least say how filling they are. Now, before I crack this open, there are a few interesting details we can note on the packaging. For one, the label on it is written in both English and Russian, the two primary languages of astronauts at this point in time. Package says tortillas, terror package open at notch, and lepeshka tortilla, odkryt po linii adresa. I'm sorry. There's also a sodium content prominently labeled on this side. Aside from that, the rest of the ingredients look pretty standard, and there isn't actually an expiration date directly listed on this package, unless it is November 9th or November 09, or perhaps 10922. In that case, though, it's only 4-year-old tortillas. I think worse things could happen. So because these packages are going to be stowed in a microgravity environment, you want some way to prevent them from just floating around when you're not looking for them. So that is where these little Velcro pads can come in handy. So you can have another side of Velcro on the vehicle or in your cabinets or kitchen compartment, and then just stick this to the wall when you're not eating it. The reason you don't have Velcro everywhere within a spacecraft, though, is because this stuff will capture a lot of particles very easily, and it gets hard to clean. So it just increases the potential that you'll have a messier environment in the long term if you were to have Velcro all around the inside of your spacecraft. We also want to be able to open this without the use of additional tools, just so that you don't have to worry about accidentally puncturing yourself with the scissors. We can also see from the nutrition facts that there are 2 tortillas per package for 220 calories. Again, I'll let the nutritionists handle that information. All right, so we're going to start with a taste test of the terrestrial tortilla because I have not actually had Nutella for a while, and so I want to refresh my memory of what the flavor is like, also when we're going to be comparing it here. So we'll start with the sealed package of Earthbound tortillas. I'll just take one out for that. Now, it's also interesting to note that the reason that we're using tortillas here instead of bread with this topping is because if you have bread within a microgravity environment, it will produce crumbs. And those crumbs will float around the inside of your spacecraft, potentially getting stuck on Velcro surfaces like we just discussed, or potentially getting into your life support systems or your air conditioning systems. And those additional little particles can cause problems with the machinery that you want to avoid if possible. So instead, we'll use tortillas as our bread on the mission. All right. We'd probably want an easier way to do this on orbit, but it is, and you can still do it with just fingers. It's a very good smell. Now, normally on Earth, the fluids in your body are pulled downwards by gravity. Not to an unhealthy extent, of course, because you're still alive right now. But there is a noticeable difference when you do go to space, where that gravitational pull is no longer present. So the fluids in your body redistribute and rebalance, resulting in an upward shift of fluids in your body. It does affect all astronauts in space after a certain amount of time, but it's not the most unhealthy thing that could happen up there. Now, the way Nutella plays into this is that when this fluid shift occurs, it effectively clogs up your sinuses like when you're sick. Maybe not to the same extent as that, but it will still affect your taste and smell in space. And so during your meals on orbit, your sense of taste and smell are suppressed compared to what they would be on Earth. This is why a lot of astronauts like spicy foods as supplements to their typical meals, or more flavorful condiments like we have here. All right, let's give it a go. The fluid dynamics of this would be probably different on orbit as well, since you're not going to have gravity causing it to drip down like this. And so you would probably want to be extra careful when you are spreading this stuff on your tortillas in space, since you don't want this to drip around and get on the consoles in your spacecraft. All right, let's give this a try. Like I said, it's been a while since I've tried Nutella, so I'm hopeful this is a pretty good reminder. There it is. I can definitely taste the cocoa aspect of it. This is hazelnut spread with cocoa. Yeah, definitely noticed that. The hazelnut is very subtle, but to be fair, hazelnut is basically always subtle. There's definitely a lot more flavor to the cocoa than I was expecting, so you probably didn't even need to spread it as thick as I did. So yeah, the Nutella almost sticks to or adheres with the tortilla pretty well, and it kind of blends together very nicely. And yeah, that's a pretty filling snack too. I would say it's maybe not enough for a full meal on its own, but if you just wanted a snack to get you through to the next meal, this seems to work pretty well. Probably ate that a little faster than I needed to, and pretty hungry. Of course, NASA has denied that their mission was sponsored by Nutella, but with product placement being what it is these days, you never really can tell for sure. This is a joke, by the way, but Project Hail Mary is still a great movie. Go see it. All right, now let's get on to the good stuff. All right, so as you can see, the package is still sealed, so I don't actually know if the tortillas inside are moldy or not. So this video could be very short or have a very different ending than the one I was expecting. So we'll give this a try. You can see there is, you can kind of see the indent of the tortillas, so I can hopefully avoid tearing them as I open this. But here goes nothing. Okay, that worked. Definitely smells like old tortillas, old at least. It does have a little bit different of a smell than these terrestrial tortillas, but still recognizable. Definitely drier. All right, so you can see they're packaged in there pretty nicely. Here we go. Oh, okay, tore a little bit. That's probably fine. And here we go. Okay. So this still looks like a pretty decent tortilla here. A couple of them, little pieces. Here we are. Very nice bread there. A bit smaller, of course, but has to fit in the standardized packaging. So there are some small pieces falling off. I think that's just the way I'm holding it, though. Yeah, it does have a little bit of that dry, old smell to it a bit, which is probably understandable for tortillas of this age. Okay, so I guess I should try this one without any Nutella first so I can get a good idea of the flavor background that we're starting with. So let's give it a go here. Um, yeah, I guess I'll save last words for the end of the video. It's still good. It's still good. It does seem a bit more, it gets mushy quicker than the other ones, but doesn't taste bad. It doesn't even taste old either, too. Yeah, I think if you gave this to me without telling me it was astronaut food, I'd maybe just say it's kind of a little old of a tortilla, or I'm a brand that I'm not familiar with. That could be too. Yeah, honestly, I would be fine with eating this as a snack, just as is on Earth at least. Nicely folded as well too, so we can make our sandwich a lot easier with this. So I'm going to start with continuing this one here, so that we don't have to, or that we still have a pristine tortilla as well. And let's go ahead and use our Spacebound topping. Okay, try to not layer it on super thick like last time. Actually, no, I will for the sake of consistency, so that we're using the same standard for comparison in terms of condiment thickness. All right, the spreading process seems to be fairly consistent with the other brand, so hopefully that means that the application was a success. Right. Go ahead, fold it up again. Very convenient there. So we have our astronaut taco now with Nutella. And All right, let's do it. Oh yeah, that still works. That works. Mm. The cocoa is still there, of course, but it really masks the older taste of the tortillas or the dryness of it. Honestly, I'm not getting the hazelnut as much, and I suppose if you did have that fluid shift, you might even get it less. But again, like I said, hazelnut is usually not a strong flavor in my experience, at least. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's barely noticeable difference. I would say it's still maybe a little bit mushier than the other ones, but I mean, it's still good. It's still a good tortilla. I mean, this would of course be the optimal outcome. Is like you don't want space food to be terrible compared to Earth food. You want it to be familiar so that the astronauts still get the pleasure of eating something tasting good. I would almost say there is perhaps a bit more of the dry flavor to it when you're not getting the Nutella, or I guess when there's more tortilla than there is Nutella. It does still come across as a bit dry in that case, but even so, the aftertaste of the Nutella kind of takes care of that. Honestly, too, even the chewiness isn't much different from the new tortillas either. So yeah, it's still good. Assuming this is actually from 2022, it's a 4-year-old tortilla, but it's been sealed presumably this whole time. It is possible that some air might have leaked in and thus some moisture. Oh, I do see we have one of these silica packets from inside the package as well to help reduce moisture contamination. Thankfully, I didn't end up eating that. That would have changed the review. All right, so we got one more tortilla left. I'll give this a few more bites just to compare it with the other. Maybe I got one good one and there's one bad one. I think too, with the first one, I was kind of looking for the difference a bit more. This one's honestly even better. Um, it's just like you're not primed for a new flavor, I guess, at this time, and so it's a good tortilla. Just a palate cleanser, nothing more. Okay, we'll go ahead and add some Nutella to this one too because I am still pretty hungry. So this will be a good meal here, and we'll get a bit more this time just to see how the more present cocoa flavor, make sure see how well it covers up the dryness of the tacos. I suppose too, when your supplies are more limited over a longer duration mission, probably would be more conservative with your condiments, but we don't have that restriction right now. Also, I don't even use condiments on tortillas very often, so this will probably last me a while anyways. No, we're good. Right. Okay, we're good. We're good. Yeah, that would have been really bad in microgravity if anything came up. But no, we're all right. We're all right. It's just the water. Okay, let's give this another go after a successful application of Nutella. I will say too, it does seem that it does break apart a little more easily. On the edges, at least, it seems to hold together pretty well otherwise. See, there's a little bit of a tear in the seam, but it has been folded there for a while, so that's fair. Okay, well, I'm pretty hungry, so this is a decent meal for now, at least. Mm. This is good condiment. Not sponsored again, but it's a good topping. As you can see, there's some flakiness here too. Which again, compared to bread, this is much better than the crumbs that you might get in that situation, since this is much more visible. So if it did happen in space, you could at least see it and collect it more easily. That might also be due to the age on these as well. It's definitely flaking a lot more than the earthbound tortillas. Yeah. If I was on the moon, or on the way to the moon, on the way back to the moon, this would be a good snack. Let's look at some flakes coming off here. But it's holding together pretty well, at least as far as tortillas go. I will say this time too, having more Nutella does sort of relieve the challenge of the dryness of the tortilla too. It's just a matter of which flavor is stronger again. Mm, that's a good astronaut meal. Okay, so still alive so far as of time of recording, at least. A little bit more water. Okay, we can see there are a few pieces that have chipped off the sides. There's also a little bit of stuff left in there that was adhering to the packaging. But overall, it seems like a successful test so far, at least. Haven't died yet. We'll see what happens in the near future. I'd imagine it'd be mostly survivable if anything did happen, though. But I guess this is the point where I would say if you want to see if I survive, maybe consider subscribing. So yeah, that's about it for the test for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was somewhat enjoyable for you. And of course, congratulations to the Artemis crew, and also a big congratulations to everyone who helped them on their mission. It takes a lot of people to do what just happened. So especially respect to you guys too. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. No, we're still good. Still good. Can't let these historical artifacts go to waste, I suppose. Man, tortillas are just good snacks. Thankfully, you're still in a gravity environment, otherwise this would be more messy.